next council so that they're aware of what was done here, and we'll wish you all the best.
Thank you very much for your time and attention.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on to 7.1.1, please, Mr. Mitchell.
Good evening, Your Worship and Council. Thanks so much for having me here today. Before you, I have third reading of bylaw 33.25, which is a council procedure bylaw. The council procedure bylaw. Sorry, I should introduce myself. My name is Mitchell Visser. I'm the manager of legislative services. Thanks so much. The council procedure bylaw came before council on September 22nd, 2025, and underwent first and second reading. During that meeting, council had a couple of questions and primarily a couple concerns on primarily two provisions related to closed sessions of council. And so the first concern related to the inclusion of the names of participants in closed session. And the second concern related to the requirement that separate motions be made for each closed session item. So a motion to enter and to exit for each closed session agenda item. And some of those related primarily due to procedural concerns of how that would affect the council proceedings. And so upon council's recommendation, both of those provisions have been removed from this version of the council procedure bylaw. And one of the recommendations, for example, was having some kind of confidentiality requirement or agreement for people within the closed session, or some other way to ensure that the confidentiality of the closed session is maintained. So legislative services are recommending that these provisions be removed, and we can look at using some of those recommendations instead. So aside from the removal of those two provisions, there's been no changes to the bylaw. So I have it before you for third reading. And let me know if there's any questions or concerns on third reading of bylaw 33.25.
Can I get a motion, please? Crystal?
I move that council gives third and final reading to council procedure bylaw number 33.25 as presented.
Seconder? Tony? Comments? So we're back to where when the new council does first reading, they can discuss in that.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. So for you that are here, that's a really important thing, because before we didn't talk about it, but now you guys get to discuss it, and it gives administration a chance to take your ideas to the second reading, where we wouldn't discuss it till second reading, so we only had one more chance. So it's a real good repair. So thank you for that, Mitchell. All right, anybody else? Go ahead, Crystal.
Yeah, I think just it's to be clear about like closed sessions, right? There is this very strict, I call it the vault, and the vault doesn't get open until we're told the vault can get open. So just making that clear that we didn't want people's names to be who would be presenting these closed sessions, because then, you know, they might get asked on the street, why were you in a closed session? What was that about, right? So that was to prevent that, was my feeling. And that I feel like a statement of confidentiality is a good reminder about why you're in closed session. So thank you for taking care of that part. So thanks.
Anybody else, Patrick?
No, thank you for doing this, and I understand the difficult balance there is coming between having that transparency, and I understand the effort in having the individual motions. I guess I also understood your reasoning for it. I think we can still continue to brainstorm. This is a living document, and to figure out a way that we can continue to balance that.
Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for all this work. I think it is what this council wants. That being said, there will be many new councillors coming up. And just a reminder to the new councillors that anytime we do a bylaw, it's not written in stone, right? I mean, we have changed how many bylaws over the last number of years. And so this is kind of the best that we're doing right now looks good to us. But members of the new council might look at it and go, no, I don't particularly like that. And then it can be revisited. And that's exactly what this council have done, as I say, with many different bylaws. So just keep that in mind, that no bylaw is written in stone. This is kind of a best guess and a good bylaw. But we have come across a number of bylaws that we thought were good bylaws, and we ended up changing them. So
Anybody else? Just a reminder though, Tom, we changed ones that were on typewriters too, so they were a little old. Anybody else? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Mitchell, for your work on that. It's a big document, well appreciated. And you guys should start reading it. Okay, let's move on to 7.1.2, Esther.
Okay, so for the next few items here, these are all different land designation bylaws, which you have seen in the past at various levels of first and second and third reading. So I'll do a bit of an intro on all of them right now, and then jump right into them as we go. So as we are aware, the funding agreements that are established with the province of Alberta and the government of Canada when it comes to the flood mitigation project, these lands are acquired for the project and must be dedicated as either environmental reserves, public utility lots, or another designation satisfactory to the province. Public utility lots are titled parcels of land which are owned by the town of Drumheller and contain public utilities or municipal infrastructure. Wherever possible, land acquired for the use of berms will be converted into PUL lots, as the berms are considered municipal infrastructure. So this bylaw, bylaw 28.25, intends to remove the status of community reserve, while proposed bylaw 37.25, which will be brought up here shortly, will designate the parcel and surrounding parcels as PULs. So we need two separate bylaws in order to complete the process. So in accordance with the requirements of Section 674 of the Municipal Government Act, the town is required to hold a public hearing prior to the removal of a community reserve designation. This public hearing was held on September 8th, 2025. The public hearing was advertised in the Drumheller Mail on August 20th and 27th, and the proposed bylaw was posted on our website. Any person who claimed to be affected was invited to present their comments or to submit them in writing. And there were no presentations or written submissions received specifically for this North Machichi Creek land designation bylaw. Therefore, administration is recommending we proceed with second and third reading. Thank you.
Thanks, Esther. Can I get a motion, please? Tony?
I'll move that council give second reading to North Machichi Creek Land Designation Bylaw number 28.25 as presented.
Seconder? Stephanie? Comments? Tom?
So all of the berms, dikes that we've been building are now designated as public utility lots because they are now regarded as town infrastructure, as opposed to environmental reserve areas that don't have berms and dikes and are basically just left kind of natural. Is that correct?
Through the chair, we are choosing to designate them as public utility lots because the berms are considered to be infrastructure. They're engineered structures that are now created instead of naturally functioning environmental green space.
Anybody else? And basically, this is just a lot of housekeeping, right?
Yes, that's correct, Your Worship. The other thing you'll see too as we move forward into these is some of these do have all three readings associated with them, which I know is not our normal best practice. However, in this specific situation, we are trying to get these through in order to not negatively impact any of the landowners who have this land associated with their current parcels. So in order to get this through and registered with land titles, land titles takes about 6 to 8 weeks to process. So we're trying to get this in before year end is the reason we're doing these.
Perfect. Anybody else? All in favor of second reading? Carrie, can I get a motion for third reading, please? Tom?
I move the council gives third and final reading to North Machichi Creek Land Designation Bylaw number 28.25 as presented.
Seconder? Patrick? Comments? All in favor? Carrie, thank you. Esther, 7.1.3, please.
So this one is for our proposed East Cooley Land Designation Bylaw 32.25. So this specific area, with the completion of the East Cooley berm, these parcels of land can now be dedicated as either POLs or ERs in order to comply with the funding agreement. Again, we are looking at let's see here. Because of the existence of an existing ER, a large section of the land will be converted into an ER, while 2 POLs will be created on the eastern section of the berm. So due to a clerical error in the originally attached Schedule A, this bylaw was pulled from the meeting in September 22nd, where we were originally going to present it for first reading. In that original Schedule A, the entirety of the legal land description was being designated as part of an ER. In the corrected Schedule A before council today, only a portion of the lot is being designated as such. This is to allow a portion of the lot to be sold and used for residential purposes down the road. So administration is recommending that council gives first, second, and third reading to proposed East Cooley Land Designation Bylaw 32.25.
Thank you. Can I get a motion, please? Crystal?
I move that council gives first reading to East Cooley Land Designation Bylaw number 32.25 as presented.
Seconder? Tony? Because we just passed that council procedure bylaw, can I ask for any comments? No, they won't let me. All
Sorry,
in
Your
favor?
Worship, the bylaw becomes effective on October 20th.
Okay. All right. All in favor? Carrie, can I get a motion for second reading? I'm just testing the system. Stephanie?
I move the council give second reading to East Cooley Land Designation Bylaw number 32.25 as presented.
Seconder, please. Patrick? Comments? Tony? Or Tom?
Yeah, I was just wondering if the dike berm work is all now completed in this area? Is that all finished?
Yes, I'm told that is the case, which is part of to why we are now able to fully survey out and be specific on exactly how much land this does impact.
Stephanie?
So just looking at the map, Esther, is all the gray area then the environmental reserve?
So looking at the map there, you'll see that lot 3 ER block 2. You'll see the dotted lines there. That section is the land that we are talking about right now. So there is other sections in gray that are already designated as ER. So for example, just to the left of it, you'll see that there was block 5 ER. So that now will be integrated into one long piece of environmental reserve. So you'll see that portion will now become long and narrow.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Patrick?
And just to clarify, once it's considered or deemed an environmental reserve, there's no changing that.
There is no way to change that unless we go through this process again. And to be honest, it could. I believe there's a 6-month waiting time if we ever did want to do that.
Anybody else? All in favor of second reading? Carrie, can I get unanimous consent to go to third, please? Tony?
I move that council gives unanimous consent for third and final reading of East Cooley Land Designation Bylaw 32.25.
Seconder? Stephanie? All in favor? Carrie, can I get a motion for third reading, please? Stephanie?
I move the council gives third and final reading to East Cooley Land Designation Bylaw number 32.25 as presented.
Seconder. Comments? All in favor? Carried. 7.1.4.
Excuse me, Your Worship. I'm sorry, I didn't catch who seconded the motion on that.
Stephanie first, Tom second.
Thank you.
All right, 7.1.4, please. Esther?
Certainly. This is for bylaw 36.25 for the North Drumheller Land Designation bylaw. This one specifically is with regards to now that we have completed the North Drumheller berm, these parcels of land indicated in the attachment can now be dedicated again as either PULs or ERs in order to comply with the funding agreements we have in place with the province and the federal government. In this instance, administration is recommending that the land west of and including a portion of 9th Street now Northwest be designated as a single PUL. Administration is recommending first, second, and third reading of the proposed bylaw today.
Thank you. Can I get a motion for first reading, please? Crystal?
I move that council gives first reading to North Drumheller Land Designation Bylaw number 36.25 as presented.
Seconder. Stephanie? All in favor? Carrie, can I get a motion for second reading, please? Tom?
I move that council gives second reading to North Drumheller Land Designation Bylaw number 36.25 as presented.
Seconder, please. Tony? All in favor? Or, sorry, comments? Crystal?
And just to clarify, this is a requirement because of the funding that we receive from provincial and federal governments to build these berms. They have to be converted to either PULs or ERs, just like the previous one.
That is correct.
Anybody else? All in favor? Carrie, can I get a motion to go into the unanimous consent? Patrick?
I move that council give unanimous consent for third and final reading of North Drumheller Land Designation Bylaw number 36.25.
Seconder? Crystal? All in favor? Carrie, can I get a motion for third reading, please? Stephanie?
I move the council gives third and final reading to North Drumheller Land Designation Bylaw number 36.25 as presented.
Seconder? Tony? Comments? All in favor? Carried. Are you guys having fun yet? Good. All right, 7.1.5, please, Esther.
Okay, so this one is bylaw 37.25, North Machichi Creek PUL designation bylaw. So this one is the follow-up bylaw from the very first one we spoke about earlier in the meeting. So this proposed bylaw intends to designate 3 PULs on either side of the Machichi Creek, which includes the land occupied by the Machichi Creek West Berm and the Machichi Creek East Berm. These berms were constructed in 24 as part of the town's flood mitigation program. To facilitate the construction of the West Berm, the Machichi Creek itself was realigned by shifting the creek east. As I mentioned, our previously adopted bylaw 28.25 did remove the community reserve designation on a portion of this land. This one now, proposed bylaw 37.25, is now requesting that designation as a PUL. Administration is recommending first, second, and third reading to proposed North Machichi Creek PUL designation bylaw 37.25.
Thanks, Esther. Can I get a motion, please, council? Patrick?
I move that council give first reading to North Machichi Creek PUL Designation Bylaw number 37.25 as presented.
Seconder? Tony? All in favor? Carrie, can I get a motion for second reading, please? Crystal?
I move that council give second reading to North Machichi Creek PUL Designation Bylaw number 37.25 as presented.
Seconder? Tom? Comments? Tom?
So we bring another name in there, community reserve. So what the heck's a community reserve?
So I understand that this piece of land was designated as a community reserve. It's wonderful. So we have community reserves, we have environmental reserves, and we have municipal reserves. Community reserve is can be one that you can put public infrastructure on, but it tends to be focusing more on things like um, school lands, for example, or recreation that have developments on it. Whereas if it's an environmental reserve, the idea behind that is that it stays in its natural state as much as possible instead of having infrastructure built on it. Municipal reserve is kind of both of those are types of municipal reserve, but it tends to be more around when you're doing a subdivision, for example, you do have a requirement as a developer to, when you're a certain size, to designate a certain part of that land as municipal reserve. So that can be either straight municipal reserve, or it can be environmental reserve, or it can be community reserve. They like it confusing.
Anybody else? Crystal?
No, and there was extensive reconfiguring of the Machichi Creek. So some properties got back their land that was actually lost to some of this river or creek being realigned. And then, so a lot that just has to do with this is because of that major diversion that went through there. I don't know if anyone's been back there, but it's pretty extensive work that was done back there. So appreciate that this is all getting realigned so that we can have control over that land back there, so that if for future flooding or anything, and that I know the residents are, I've spoke to them, are very happy with the work that's being done back there. So just want to make it clear that, you know, it's been a good thing for this. So just my comment about that. So thank you.
Anybody else? Well, and also being put to a public utility lot allows access for the town and other vendors, utility companies, all those kind of things. So it makes it easier access than trying to go on to private lands. All right, all in favor, second reading? Carrie, can I get consent to go to third, please? Chris, Stephanie?
I move the council gives unanimous consent for third and final reading of North Machichi Creek PUL designation bylaw number 37.25.
Seconder? Patrick, all in favor? Carrie, can I get a motion for third reading, please? Tony?
I move that council gives third and final reading to North Machichi Creek Public Utility Lot Designation Bylaw number 37.25 as presented.
Seconder? Stephanie? Comments? All in favor? Carried. 7.1.6, please, Esther.
Okay, so this is bylaw number 38.25, South Machichi Creek Land Designation Bylaw. So this proposed bylaw is intended to designate 2 public utility lots on either side of the southern end of the Machichi Creek and 1 environmental reserve to the west of the mouth of the Machichi Creek. This includes lands occupied by the Machichi Creek West Berm and the Machichi Creek East Berm. The West Berm and East Berm were constructed in 2024 and are part of our flood mitigation program. To facilitate the construction of the West Berm, the creek itself, again, was realigned by the shifting of the creek east. Wherever possible, land acquired for the use of the berms, as I mentioned, are converted to PULs, as the berms are considered infrastructure. We recommend environmental reserve designation when the land is unsuitable for development or environmentally sensitive, and usually contains land subject to flooding or containing riparian lands. In this instance, due to the presence of an existing ER, a large section of the riparian land located in the floodway west of Machichi Creek will be converted to an ER. Administration is recommending for second and third reading today.
I get a motion, please? Stephanie?
I move the council gives first reading to South Machichi Creek Land Designation Bylaw number 32.25 as presented.
Seconder, Crystal. All in favor? Carrie, can I get a motion for second reading, please? Tom?
I move the council gives second reading to South Machichi Creek Land Designation Bylaw number 38.25 as presented.
Seconder, please. Crystal? Comments? Stephanie?
Sorry. Esther, I just wanted to clarify with ERs, because I was always, from my understanding is that ERs could be made bigger or smaller, but never taken away. But there is a process that is able to change ERs and have them removed?
It is not recommended to change them, for sure, and it is best practice not to do that. You're correct.
Crystal?
So I recently actually just had a conversation with someone who owns land in North Drumheller, so on the, oh my goodness, my directions, the east side of the Machichi Creek. And he said that he can build something, but it has to be on stilts. And I was like, well, no, now you're protected with this. There should be some, that should be okay, but you need to obviously talk to development. So he's under the impression that they're not protected by the berm. So I don't know if this is the time and place to confirm that, or if I just continue directing this resident to speak to development.
Through the chair, I would suggest they actually contact the flood office and just to confirm that they are fully protected. And from there, they shouldn't need to build anything on stilts.
And to follow that up, it's probably stuff like this housekeeping stuff that we have to get on file before they're allowed to designate it. So that's why Esther's asking us to get this done for them. Okay, all in favor of second reading? Can I get unanimous consent for third, please? Patrick?
I move the council give unanimous consent for third and final reading of the South Machichi Creek Land Designation Bylaw number 38.25.
Seconder, please. Tom? All in favor? Carried. A motion for third reading, please. Crystal?
I move that council gives third and final reading to South Machichi Creek Land Designation Bylaw number 38.25 as presented.
Seconder, please. Stephanie, comments? So this is great stuff. Again, for all you guys, this is all flood stuff. We're trying to get as much of it as we can cleaned up for you so that it's not carry forward. So I want to thank Esther and your team and everybody involved for getting this information to us so that we can get it going so that it, at least it can get to the province and get signed off. So, all right, all in favor? Carried. Thank you, Esther.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on. So, Esther, it's you again. 7.1.7, please.
Okay, no more land. This is different. Okay, this report is with regards to our Drumheller Housing Administration and appointments to their board. So currently, the Drumheller Housing Administration has 3 vacancies on their board. At their March 20th, 2025 regular meeting, the DHA passed a motion to reappoint Gerald Martins and Brendan Huntley to the board. The DHA is requesting that council ratify these recommended appointments in accordance with our council and committee meeting procedural bylaw 04.21. Both Mr. Martins and Mr. Huntley have previously served as members on the DHA and have expressed their interest to be reappointed. Although we currently have 3 vacancies on the board, we are just asking for 2 at this time to be designated and ratified as members. We do currently have, if anybody is interested, the remaining vacancy is posted on our town's website on the boards and committees and career opportunities page, should anybody be interested in volunteering. Administration is recommending that council reappoints Gerald Martins and Brendan Huntley to the Drumheller Housing Administration Board.
Thank you. Can I get a motion, please? Crystal?
I move that council approves the appointment of Gerald Martins and Brendan Huntley as voting members to the Drumheller Housing Administration, each for a 3-year term beginning October 6, 2025 and ending October 6, 2028.
Seconder, please. Tony, comments? Crystal?
Well, it has been my absolute pleasure being the chair of this board for the last 4 years, and both Gerald and Brendan bring a wealth of knowledge to DHA and providing the services that we do for our community. And I know they're going to continue on with this board and do really good things. I do want to thank Patricia Wolf for her contribution for the last 4 years as well. She provided her resignation because she is now fully retired and is traveling around the world. So it was hard for her to come to meetings. But if anyone is out there publicly, this is a great board to be on. We meet quarterly, always lunch provided, and it's a really great time to really, plan for our community for socially available housing. So thank you to those two for joining again.
Anybody else? Well, I heard there's an opening still, so maybe once you're done your job as council, you can get your name back on the board. And thank you, Crystal, for leading that board. That was a big. You took that on very well. So thank you for leading that board. All right. Any other comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Gerald and Brendan, for stepping up on that one. Okay, 7.2.1, Victoria.
Good afternoon, Your Worship and Council. My name is Victoria Chen, Chief Financial Officer, Director of Corporate and Community Services. I only have one request for decision for Council tonight. It is regarding the FCSS program policy. This proposed policy is as a result of the adoptions of the bylaw 3424 FCSS committee bylaw. So this is basically is almost like an omnibus exercise that we're changing the policy due to the adoptions of the bylaw. So the crux of the policy have no major change other than the fact that we're just following the lead of the bylaw, that the committee is now established from a decision body to an advisory body. So all this, basically the policy just identifying some of the roles and responsibilities, and then also the hierarchy of the authority based on the FCSS Act, and then as well as the council bylaw. This policy particularly just speak to some of the administrative functions, such as the committee will review the annual plan, review the budget, and then also advocating the FCSS on behalf of the town. So this policy will, once this is approved, it will be shared at the next FCSS committee meeting after the elections. We are hopeful that we will be bringing back a new request for decisions for the appointments of the public members or the member at large for the FCSS committee. And then, of course, they will be able to revisit the policy, or if they want to, they can also make amendments to the policy as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Can I get a motion, please? Tom?
I move that council adopts FCSS program policy number P, is that a 0 or an O? P0325C as presented.
Seconder. Stephanie? Comments? So just to kind of a bit of history on this one. Correct me if I'm wrong at all, Victoria, but we used to have a full FCSS department. Through maternity and people moving and stuff, we ended up without anybody in the department. We tried to fill a couple times. As we were the board of the FCSS as a council, we made the decision, rather than trying to create things that were already happening in the valley, we made a choice to become more of a grant FCSS. And so we've allocated, I believe, over $170,000 to organizations who are already operating. So rather than have a full department here, where we felt it was best use of the funds to give it to those who are already operating, because many are struggling to try and make ends meet as it is. So we felt, and that was mainly Crystal, Stephanie, and myself on that board, with the support of the rest of council, to just find a way to help the organizations that are out there. So if you wonder why we changed things, it just kind of, when we had no staff, we thought, you know what, why not try something different? And it's really worked out really well. I think we've helped 18 organizations, would it be, Victoria? So it really turned out to be a really good opportunity. So just a bit of history there. Okay, anybody else? Crystal?
Just for sitting here, if you have some free time, that FCSS policy and measure bank is rather interesting. And we've been hearing, well, 4 years I've been on, that they're changing it to make it more user friendly, but hopefully that comes for the next council because it's not very user friendly right now. So, but if you do get a chance, there is good information there, and what organizations can benefit from FCSS funding, which comes to us from the province. So it's very specific criteria, but it has been very, very helpful in our community.
Yeah, and the province gives 80% of the funding and the municipality gives 20%. So it's really a provincially ran program. Okay, anything else? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Victoria. Greg, 7.3.1.
Thank you, Your Worship. My name is Greg Peters. I'm Protective Services Director for the town of Drumheller. Please, as council, before you, I have a request for decision regarding the Municipal Policing Committee bylaw. In an effort to capture the sentiments of council after second reading, I have made certain changes which, with the gracious assistance of legislative services, were captured further in a schedule. This was in an effort, what I gathered from council, so their effect and input was clearer, laid out. The accountability of the committee to council, and any back and forth communication, reporting, and request for the policing committee to appear before council was clearly laid out in the bylaw. There are some other wording changes regarding elaborating on a non-commissioned officer in charge, duties and functions, to reflect any annual policing safety plan should also have the input of my department, as we are often out there working side by side with the police on matters of public safety. I'm seeking third reading and passage, if it pleases council, this evening, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Greg. Can I get a motion, please? Tony?
I move that council gives third and final reading to the Municipal Policing Committee bylaw number 35.25 as presented.
Seconder, please. Stephanie? Comments? Tom?
Yeah, I hope the public kind of realizes the significance of this committee. It's not just another municipal committee. This is very important and not to be taken lightly, because there are very, very few places in this world that members of the community actually have oversight of their police force. And this committee will have significant input into the policing of this committee. And I hope there's some people out there that are going to step up and volunteer and participate in this, because I think it's very, very valuable.
Anybody else? I'm most grateful for the changes. Well done. Thank you for that. Okay, anybody else? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, that leads us to closed session, but before we do that, I'm going to ask each of you to send your sayonara's off.
Well, I just wanted to thank all of the members of council, Crystal Soretta, Stephanie Price, Tony Locker, and Heather Kohlberg for the incredible job they have done over the last number of years. They have been absolute credit to our community. There have been significant changes in the town that have very positively affected the quality of life and the economic climate. And so I'm just very, very happy to have worked with these people and wish them best of luck. And if there is a committee out there that you might want to serve on or do something. So anyways, on behalf of the Drumheller community, thank you very much for your incredible work and effort, and good luck in your future.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, it's kind of with mixed emotions here. We sit here in this final hour, I guess. It's just looking back over the last 2 terms, the 8 years, the teams I've been fortunate enough to work with, administration included largely in that as well. Got some great people in place on the town's operations side, and I wish you all the best going forward. I know I'll be an outsider looking in and cheering you on. So special thanks to the community for the ongoing support that has been offered to us. Yeah, I think I might miss it.
I said I wasn't gonna cry because there's no crying in baseball. But I had to write everything down because I figured the tears would start and I would probably forget what I was gonna say. Um, so to my beloved community, friends, and neighbors, thank you for the opportunity to serve as your council member. This journey has been a testament to the power of teamwork and shared vision. Every success we've achieved has been with the help of your engagement, ideas, and support. So thank you for your trust and for making this experience so meaningful. I will miss being on council, but look forward to the next council and all they will accomplish. Thank you very much, administration, for everything that you guys have done and all your help. So thank you guys.
There's not much more to really say. Beyond being grateful to administration and to this council, it's more than just being thankful. It's being inspired. It's seeing that change is possible. That if you have the courage and you have the ideas, that you can make the community go forward. So thank you for that.
Thank you, because I am the emotional one. um, yeah, 4 years ago when I started putting out those signs, I wasn't really sure what the journey would be, but man, this has been the best work family I've ever had the pleasure of working with, honestly. To administration, to our council, to our leader, Heather, really, honestly, changed my life. You've made me a better person. You've put me in some really challenging positions. um, but yeah, it's just been really exciting. Really good ride. So thank you.
Well, all I can say is, first off, I'm blessed to work with all of you. I've spent a lot of years, me and Greg, I think we've been together the longest here. Erica, she got a little bit of sabbatical from me. And then, of course, Daryl. And I just wish Esther and all of you, Jared, Victoria, you two, Angela and Mitchell, you guys are rock stars. It's been, like, honestly, I didn't really think it would be this hard. I thought, I'm out of here, but um, it's been the best. I've said I've had the best job in the valley, and I truly, honestly mean it. It's been a fun ride, blessed with two amazing councils. You guys will hear nightmares all over the place, and we never had that. We never had that. We had great continuity, and I think from day one, I told you all I didn't expect you to like each other or even love each other, but I expect you to respect each other, and that's something that you guys did, and thank you. And we had a great team with Jay and Fred and Christine as well, and Obviously, we miss Lisa at the table. But I really mean it to all you new counselors. Like, just give it your heart and soul, and remember why you're doing it. Like, have the purpose of why you come in here every day, because you can't have a personal agenda. It's about the community. And did we do things that everybody loved? No. And if you think everybody's going to like you, it's not going to happen. But what I can tell you is, if you make decisions and you make them with your heart, with the information that this incredible team supplies you with, and really think about your decision and know that you've done everything and done the homework, you're going to do great things. And I mean it. It is a fun, as tough as it's been. And I mean, Erica's probably the only one to see me lose my shit. But it's really hard to leave, like, it's been a great run. I recommend all of you check the paper out on Wednesday, because I've listed in there what the incredible work that you guys have all done. We couldn't have done this without just the most amazing team, like right from administration to all their managers to all the staff. Even, like, I just saw some of the gals downstairs today. It's hard. Like, it's been my life for 8 years. So God bless you all. You've been amazing people to work with. You guys have set the bar so freaking high that God help you all achieving it. And I just mean thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for allowing me to be your mayor. Thank you for allowing me to serve this community. And thank you all for just being amazing people. And I wish you guys all the best. So before I lose it all, I'm going to ask to go into closed session. So will somebody make a motion, please, quick? Tony?
I'll save you.
Thank you.
I move that council closes the meeting to the public at 5:51 p.m. to discuss Drumheller Housing Administration as per ATIA 28, local public body confidences, and ATIA 29, advice from officials.
Seconder, please. Stephanie? All in favor? Carried. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for being with us. As always, please be kind to your friends and neighbors. And I'm going to punch this out there. Please pick up garbage and keep the weeds pulled for me. I would really be grateful. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And we'll be done after this. Thanks so much.